Join us.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add one more figure to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now this time it is going to be Wally West Flash. Now I have really been anticipating taking a look at this guy. I do want to do a couple of speedster figures in a row, and this is the second one. Now I'm not too sure if this is the actual traditional costume. He does use the same body mold as the Barry Allen Flash and the Reverse Flash, but I think it is scaled down a little bit. He's a little bit smaller, and I think it also has some newer articulation, or at least smoother articulation. But regardless, he does look pretty quick in the packaging, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. But first, he does come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand. Now these are not really needed, but sometimes they come in useful. He also comes with his data file card, sweet looking comic source material on the front there. On the back of the box you do have a bigger image that looks pretty cool, and on the back you do have some information on Wally West. Add that to the collection. Now he does come with the standard speedster accessories that usually come with these figures, just in varied colors. You have one that's like for the foot, and then one for the back that is articulated. Then you also have some that you can add to the arms or to the legs. They have like portholes in there. Two smaller ones and then two medium-sized ones, I guess you could say. Always nice to get some Speed Force effects. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at them. Starting off, first impressions, really like the look of this guy. Just love that leaner body. Kind of has a nice crooked posture to him that I really like. Loving the muted red and brown colors that are on him, but we may do a repaint on this guy as well, and a little bit of modding. But for what he is, awesome figure. Now I did pick this up at Walmart a couple weeks ago. You can still find him there. I went hunting at a Walmart and I saw him there again. But I did get my requisite 2 figures already, so maybe in the future I might end up picking up another one. But for right now, I'm cool with the 2 that I have picked up. But looks really good. Like I said, I've seen tons of reviews of this guy, and I just wanted to get him in my own hands and take a look at him. So really happy with him. Let's take a look at the head. Now you cannot go wrong with that McFarlane head sculpt. Look at the way they sculpted that hair. That, kind of rugged, intense looking face sculpt. Now, this guy doesn't necessarily have side eye. He has more of what I would call a skewed eye, because it kind of looks straight, but if you look at it, one of the eyes is kind of like tilted one way. And what ends up happening is that if you point him one direction, he actually looks that way. And if you point him the opposite direction, he actually looks that way. It's only when you're looking at him straight on that he kind of has like an off look. So it's not your traditional side eye. It's like real slight, which is kind of what McFarlane said, that they were going to pull back on it. And honestly, I really like it because it does give him like a little bit more life. Like when you turn his head, he just has that look like kind of to the side, but not really. And it doesn't really affect like the way it doesn't really lock you in any position, like the way the drastic side eye that like Lex Luthor has, where he just has to definitely be looking this way. This one's more of like, you know, a slider version, and I'm not too mad about it. I'm actually really enjoying it. Pretty cool. He has those wings on the side. Now, if you want to adjust those to the way you want to, you just warm them up and hold them, and they'll, you know, mold themselves to the way you hold them after you heat them up. If you want them more straighter than, you know, than the way they are, but they look pretty good for now. Now, let's check out the articulation. Now, he doesn't look up hardly at all. The reason being because his neck is kind of like jotted forward. But we will mod that out. That way he'll look up a little bit more. But he does definitely look down really well. You can turn him to the right. Turn him to the left. Oh, he looks awesome like that. Just that pose. And then you can cock his head for some attitude or some character. Loving this head. The head sculpt is just one of the things I really love about it. And then mixing it with that like leaner physique body just really works. Really intense looking figure. Pretty cool. Now let's go down. Check out that chest emblem. It is embossed and raised and sculpted out, which is always appreciated. And the suit does have like a little bit of texturing, kind of like ridge lines that run down the sides and a little bit on the shoulders. Pretty nice. Let's take a look at the waist. Of course, as usual, McFarlane does have side to side rocker at the waist, and then you also get that full range of motion swivel at the waist that McFarlane is known for. He does have a lower waist articulation and then an upper chest swivel, and then you can twist him to get him in some pretty cool poses. Now this guy actually does have a crunch, almost an L crunch there. You can't get him to bend forward, and then he leans back a lot there. Gonna come in good for some running poses. So I'm really happy with that. Let's take a look at the arms. He does have a butterfly joint that goes up and down and front to back slightly there. He does have a bicep cut and then double jointed elbows. Now moving to the front of the gauntlet. It's not the sculpted ball joints that they're using now, but it is small to where, it doesn't stick out at all, and it just has a smooth transition from the upper part of the glove down through the wrist and into the hand. Has a pretty cool gesture running hand. I love this hand. It's kind of like that. And of course you have wrist articulation. Other hand is a fist. Gives him some attitude. Now you can raise him up for almost a Y pose. Past the T pose. Now let's go ahead and go down to the bottom to the thighs. Let's check out his thigh swivel. Well, he does have a pretty good thigh swivel there. You can pop his hip out, bend his leg, and then he has that awesome thigh rotation at the hip. Straighten it out. Double jointed knees. Down at the ankle, you have up slightly, and you have down. Now this is the same older ball joint, even though you can't really see it. It's hidden pretty well, but that limits the articulation compared to the newer sculpted ball joints that they're using, but it doesn't detract too much from the figure. Now you do have right to left at the ankle, and then you do have rocker, and then some pretty nice toe articulation. Taking a look at the legs before we move on, has that same texture running down the side as the old Flash body does. The boots have the same like piping lines as well, but it all works good with this figure. got that like drawn out brown color. Happy with it. He looks good. Take a look at the bottom. No tread, but he does have some identifying marks. And then moving up the back, some nice scope work there. Into the trunks area, into the back. Got some more piping work there. You see the portholes for all the effects. And the back of the hair with the bolts there for the side of the mask. All in all, I'm really happy with him. He has like a cool lean to him. Like any way you put him, he's kind of just like chilling there in that pose, which is pretty awesome. So I'm happy with him. Happy to finally have him in hand and take a look at him. He's gonna look really good up there on the shelf with the rest of the speedsters. Now, before we go, you know what I'd like to do? I do have this old Mattel Wally West, and this was when Mattel was pretty much trying to copycat and do the same thing that Marvel Legends was doing. So this is actually a good comparison to, like, if you want to see kind of what Marvel Legends was doing and then what McFarlane's is doing. And when you put them next to each other, first of all, you have the size difference. Now, he's not as big as you would think because he is like a little bit smaller than the originally released Flash Buck. It's just smaller and tighter, you could just tell. But he's a good size. And then there's just no contest in the comparison here. I mean, just look at the head sculpt. You're looking at like a cartoonish little baby toy. And then you're looking at a kind of realistic head sculpt with a lot of detail and sculpt work there. And then the emblem on this one is just painted on, and this one is sculpted out. You could go into the articulation of the waist, which this one has hardly any, and this one has a full range of motion. And then this one has that ugly T-crotch with those cigar legs, and then those thigh cuts. And then this guy just looks completely smooth, no breakup in the sculpt. And I mean, it's no contest. This one's this one is way above and beyond what that old figure is. This is just, you know, the next generation. Beautifully sculpted, beautifully articulated, you know, nice paint, awesome. Just a beautiful, beautiful figure. Look at the way you stand him, and he's ready to start running. Easy to stand, no problem there. Before we go, let's bring out my recently repainted Godspeed, just to give some comparison there. But anyways, guys, pretty cool speedster to add to the shelf. I suggest picking them up. You guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.